Russell Setright, our naturopath, joining us for a Sunday. G'day, Russell.
Good morning. How are you, Clayton?
I'm good, mate. You must be quite pleased about the vaccination rate being so high. Are you surprised that we've reached 80% in New South Wales? We're almost at 70% in Victoria?
No, I'm not surprised. I think people have, once they opened it up and gave a choice to the over 60s, that made a huge difference. I think before, a lot of people were a little bit hesitant, not because they were anti-vaxxers, because they were saying, I didn't get a choice. And I saw that once they opened that up, there was a massive move. The difference in Bathurst, for instance, went through the roof, which is terrific to see. So I think that people are getting on board and they realise the benefits of that. But I think some people are a little bit hesitant, mainly because they weren't sure which vaccine they thought was the best, and they waited for that and jumped in as soon as they got a choice. I think that made a difference, which got us over the line faster than any other state, which is terrific.
Oh, and effectively, Australia is actually, we've had to play catch up with the rest of the world because it's been a much slower process in us starting the vaccination program compared to other countries. But once we've got into it, we've then increased it at this remarkable rate that we're now world leading all of a sudden.
Well, that's not unusual for Australians. We tend to get together a lot more than other countries do and get behind something once we get all the facts together. We may think about it a bit. We may want to know a little bit more. We probably don't suddenly say we trust the government and everything they say to start with. Once we get that together, we get behind it and away we go. And I think that's something that's typically Australian, which is really good. And it's a benefit that we have over a lot of other countries.
If you've got a question for us, we've got some time for those questions now, 131873. You can email them as well. Go to the website, 2gb.com, 3aw.com.au and 4bc.com.au. A typical Western high-fat diet, and that is the reality of what Western diets are like, can increase the risk of painful disorders common in people with conditions such as obesity and diabetes. Does that mean we really need to look at moving away from a Western diet if you are diabetic?
It does, and it's the type of fats that we have as well. There's no doubt that diabetes is a major problem in Australia. So is high-fat diets. The Western diet is a major problem because that contributes to diabetes. We used to think fat was the main contributor. Then we looked at sugar as the main contributor. It's a combination of all of these things. And if you don't, and let's throw exercise in that as well, because if you don't exercise enough, that increases the risk of diabetes, it increases the risk of bone disease, such as osteoporosis, and it increases the risk of heart disease as well. So the whole three of those combined, and of course in our Western diet, they're all the things that we don't do correctly. If we move closer to the Mediterranean diet, where the types of fats we have is reduced and we eat more fats from olive oil, for instance, as being a major source, less from red meats, more from seafoods, then that makes a big difference. So it's the type of fats that we have that does make a difference. And more omega-3 fats from seafood reduces inflammation, which reduces pain and reduces wear on the joints. And I think that's everything that most people want, because as you get older, I don't think you'd meet anyone that doesn't say, I've got a little bit of arthritis in one of the joints, because sheer fact that we walk upright, and we've been doing it for 70, 60, 50 or 100 years or whatever we've got to, we're putting a lot of weight on that joint. So anti-inflammation diet's what we want.
We'll come back with some questions for Russell in a moment. If you've got one, 131873. Okay, let's get into questions for our naturopath, Russell Setright. And first up is Anastasia. Hello, Anastasia.
Today.
Hi, Anastasia.
Hello, how are you? I'm calling in regards, I'm a bilateral amputee below the knee, and my phantom pains are just becoming really out of control of late. I'm currently on Tegradol, but it sort of works, it doesn't work, and I'm just wondering your opinion on acupuncture.
Yes, that can help. For those that don't understand that, people who are missing a limb can often feel that limb, their foot that may be missing, and still feel that tickling, a sensation that it's there. and that can be quite disturbing at some stages. That's right, Anastasia, what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very painful, to the point where it drives you so mad, especially when it's in both at the same time.
Absolutely. Yes, acupuncture can help with that. I was an acupuncturist. I don't practice that now, but that can certainly help, and seeing a good acupuncturist is what I would suggest. Also, magnesium may help a little bit. Taking some magnesium. Particularly
I was
more
on it
at
at one
night that you have a
stage.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
So try that again, and go and see an acupuncturist, and I think you'll find that will help you.
Okay, Anastasia, that's a good solution. I had it. I didn't believe I was going to be having acupuncture, but I saw a physiotherapist years ago about some headaches, Russell, and he actually used acupuncture on me, and it seemed to be quite effective.
It is. Many years ago when I did that, I've used it on people who totally didn't believe in it, and someone who had a pain in their shoulder from a tear that a lot of people get, as you would know, and I did that, and the pain totally went. Now, you can call it placebo. You can say they suddenly realised that maybe it did work, but we had someone who said, I don't believe this is going to work, and it worked. So I've had very good results with that in the past. So see a good acupuncturist and of course, like everything, there are people who are better at things than others. So get some advice from someone who's done it and get to see the one you like.
Okay, Tony has a question. If you want to lose weight rapidly, do you simply increase your protein and reduce your carbohydrates? Is it best to do that, and including apple cider vinegar and green tea as well?
Wow, he's hit that on the head, hasn't he? Absolutely. If you're doing that to lose weight, making sure that if you want to lose weight quickly, that you haven't got problems such as diabetes or something where you can interfere with your normal medical metabolisms that your doctor needs to look at. But if you increase your protein, that actually helps when you lose weight, that you lose more fat than muscle mass, which is what you don't want to do. You don't want to be losing muscle mass as well. That's very important. When you cut back the carbohydrates, you go into ketosis, the ketones raise, and that increases the burning of fat and the utilising of fat as a source of energy instead of the carbohydrate. So you then get that excessive fat out of the body that's stored around the tummy particularly, and that burns it up more quickly. And yes, you lose weight a lot more quickly. You might get a bit of headaches from that, doing it that way, going into ketosis, but the rapid weight loss, that's what a lot of the people do when they're boxers and sports people, when they've got to weigh in and they're slightly over.
And jockeys as well, Russell. I've only got 90 seconds left, Russell, so let's see if we can get Frank's question answered pretty quickly. Frank.
Yeah, how you going?
Frank, what's your question, mate? Almost out of time.
Well, I've got an enlarged prostate, but it's not real large, and I've had a procedure called a prostate artery embolization, and what they do, they put restrictors in the veins to restrict the blood flow to the prostate. This is a pretty relatively new procedure. Yep. I think it's been around for 10 years, but have you heard much about it?
I have, but as you said, it's a new procedure, so to get an accurate how that's going to turn out, you really need to talk to your surgeon on that one. I've heard there are a lot of new procedures that look good, but because prostate is so slow in growing, prostate cancer, in the majority of cases, we don't know the answer to those until a few years down the track. So I wouldn't like to give you my opinion of that until I know more, and I won't know more until a few more years.
Yeah, it's obviously very new technology there as well. Thank you, Frank, and good luck with that condition down the track, and obviously something that affects so many men. We're out of time, Russell. Thank you for today, mate.
My pleasure. You have a great morning, and speak again soon, Clinton.
The best naturopath in the country, Russell Setright.